So right now we are doing chapter number 10, control statements in small basic, and this is the first lecture of the same. Now suppose if you're given with this question, write a small basic program to find out whether the entered number.
Please mark my attendance.
Afterwards I'll do that, dear. Whether the entered number is greater than 0 or whether the entered number is greater than 15 or not. Okay, if suppose you are given with this question, write a small basic program to find out whether the entered number is greater than 15 or not. How you are going to write that program? So first of all, we need to understand how can we take the input from the user, or how can we ask the user for entering a number in a small basic program for a particular variable. That's what we need to understand first. Fine. Now, if suppose we want the user to enter a number, what does this line of text means? What does this line means? It means that we need to ask the user to enter any number. Okay, we won't be defining a variable like this, and we will not be assigning a value to this variable like this. Okay, we won't be doing it like this thing. If we get a question like this, then we don't have to assign a value to a variable like this. We want the input from the user. Now, how can we get an input from the user? That's what we are going to see. So first thing is that we need to tell the user to enter a number, right? So how can we tell the user to enter a number? See, the user is always going to see this screen. Just a second. When you'll hit this run button, see, I will be using two terms, user and developer. Who is a developer? Who is coding the program? One who codes the program, or one who develops the program. And a user is the one who uses that program which the developer has coded or which the developer has developed. So a user always get to see this window, text window. Okay, a user never get to see the code which the developer has written. Okay, so you have to think in both the ways. Like a user also you have to think, and like a developer also you guys have to think. Fine. Keep this thing in mind while you're studying this chapter number 10, control statements in small basic. Now, what is getting reflected over here on this top, on the top of this window? Enter any number. Now, when the user will see this thing written over here, what is the first thing user is going to get? What is the first thing user is going to do?
Enter a number. Enter any number.
Absolutely right. So simple the answer is. The user is going to enter a number. Now, what is the developer who is coding the program? How he will come to know about the number which the user will enter on this text window? How he will come to know about that number? So for doing that, there is a simple line of code which you have to remember. This is that line of code. Text window dot read number. Okay, we studied this in chapter number 9 also. Fine, so this is the code, this is the property, this is the function which we use for reading any number which the user has entered or which the user enters on the text window. Okay, now this this property or this function, what it is going to do, it is going to read for us the number which the user will enter on the text window. And now if suppose you want to save that number in a particular variable, the developer, the coder who is coding this program, he wants to save that number in a particular variable, so he can do it like this. So whatever number the user will
First
enter on the,
we write.
so when we'll run this program, what is going to happen? The user who is actually using the code developed or which the coder has coded, he is going to see this window first, and here he's going to, the user is going to see this text written over here, enter any number. Now whatever number he will enter here, suppose he enters 56. So when he will hit that enter button on the keyboard, automatically this number is going to go get saved in which variable? In variable A. Why? Because whatever number
A.
the user entered here, suppose 56 is a number which the user has entered on this text window. So this read number function, it is going to read the number from the text window, and it is going to store that number in this variable A. So this is how you can assign a value to a particular variable at the time when the program is running. जब हम इस तरीके से कोई वैल्यू असाइन करते हैं ना बच्चों, इफ सपोज हम लोग टेक्स्ट विंडो पर से कोई वैल्यू असाइन कर रहे हैं किसी वेरिएबल को, we say that we call it as a runtime execution or a runtime assignment. ये कुछ टर्म्स हैं कंप्यूटर की, कंप्यूटर में ये टर्म्स है कुछ जो कोडिंग लैंग्वेज में आती हैं, ठीक है. यू हैव टू रिमेंबर दीज टर्म्स. नाउ if you will enter this, the user suppose write here 76, and when he'll hit this enter button, automatically this number is going to get saved in variable A. तो जो वैल्यू है A की at present, what is the value of A at present? It is 76. Is this thing clear to every one of you, or is there any issue? Is there anything you're not able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Everything is clear to every one of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's
Yes, sir.
come back. Now let's come back on that question. What is this question saying? Write a small basic program to find out whether the entered number is greater than 15 or not. So we have to check whether the number which the user has entered is greater than 15 or not. So here we guys have to check a condition, right? This is a condition that we have to check. The entered number is greater than 15 or not. And how are we going to check that check this condition? How are we going to write the code for this line of text for this question over here? So where is the number getting saved which the user has entered? It is in variable A. Now whatever condition we will define using if loop, we will make use of this A for that condition. In that condition, let me just show it to you practically. So we need to check whether the number means A, because the number has got saved in A. Now if the number is greater than 15, this is a condition we need to check. If A is greater than 15, अगर A की value 15 से बड़ी है, then मतलब तो, then translates to तो in हिंदी. अगर A की value 15 से बड़ी है, then तो क्या हो? We need to tell the user that whatever value he has entered, it is greater than 15. So that's how we can tell the user about the same. Entered value is greater than 15. Fine. And after that, once we are done with defining the result inside the if loop, we need to close it also. So end if is a keyword with which we can close the if loop. So remember one thing, if you have defined a loop, you have to close it also. So this is where the loop is starting and this is where it is ending. Okay, this is the starting point of this if loop and this is the ending point. Now, when you will run the program, and if suppose you'll write here 56, so where this number is going to go, where it is going to get saved, it is going to get saved in variable page. Now that if loop, which we have written in the edit panel of the small basic environment, it is going to check whether this number is greater than 15 or not. If the because this number is greater than 15, so this is what it is going to give us as a result. Are you getting my point? Is this thing clear to every one of you or not?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone who has any kind of issue in this? किसी को भी कोई भी issue है तो अभी पूछ लीजिए. Only Naman's camera is on. बाकी सब का कैमरा ऑफ पड़ा क्योंकि सब लोग बीमार हैं, है ना? जिन जो the students who are actually not well, they are most welcome to switch off the cameras. But what about others? सभी लोगों की तबीयत खराब है. Just because I'm not well, that is the reason my camera is not on. And it doesn't mean that if the teacher's camera is not on, तो आप लोग भी अपना कैमरा ऑफ ही रखो.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I'm Gorbika.
Yes, Gorbika.
सर मेरे सिस्टम में बैक से कुछ प्रॉब्लम है सर, तो थोड़ी देर मैंने अपनी वीडियो ऑफ रखी हुई है क्योंकि मैं चेक कर रही हूँ क्या प्रॉब्लम है. जब वो ठीक हो जाएगी मैं अपने आप अपनी वीडियो ऑन कर लूँगी अभी.
So is this thing clear to every one of you? How can you read the number which the user will enter on the text window? And the second thing, how can we check a condition using if loop? Is this thing clear to every one of you? So the answer for this question, which is written over here, is this. Okay, this is what you have to write in your papers in case you get such a question in your exam. Fine. Now let's come on page number 100. Now let's come on page number 121. So, yes, Tarnika.
सर अगर हम एंडिफ नहीं लिखेंगे तो वो एरर आ जाएगा ना?
Let me just show it to you, beta. I am removing this endif from here. Now let's run this program and see what's going to happen. So see, here we are getting an error na? In this error window. Expected endif, but could not find one in the right place.
Okay.
Okay, so you always have to close the loop which you have made use of in your program. Fine. Now if you'll run this program, you will be able to see the output here. Now let's come on page number 121, example number 1. So here we have to write a program to check whether the entered number is positive or not. Can anyone tell me what is a positive number? What is the difference between a positive number and negative number?
So negative numbers. Can you please repeat the question? Sign in front of them.
Beta, one by one you have to tell me. Who's going to give the answer?
Can I tell Karnika?
Yes, Karnika, please go ahead, dear.
So, negative numbers are smaller than 0, but positive numbers are bigger than 0.
That is absolutely perfect. So, negative numbers के लिए क्या होता है? Negative numbers are always smaller than 0, but positive ones are always greater than 0. So now we have to check this condition, right? We have to check whether the if suppose you want to check whether the entered number is positive or not. So what are you going to change here in this condition? Can anyone tell me? What is the change that we have to make in this condition we have defined over here? Because you know, these lines of codes are going to give us the number which the user will enter. Now, if we want to check whether the number which the user has entered is positive or not, so this is what we are going to, this is a condition we need to define here, right? Yes. If A is greater than 0, agar A, what is A? It is a variable in which the number is getting saved, which the user has entered on the text window. Yes. If the value of A is greater than 0, then what should be the output? Entered value is positive. Okay, this should be the output. Now if you'll run this program, so this is what you're going to see as an output. Enter any number. So suppose if the user enters 56, so this is what he's going to get as an output. Entered value is positive. Now what about if suppose the user enters a negative number? What is going to happen? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, nothing is gonna come.
Excellent,
Sir,
dear. Who has given this answer? Who has given this answer?
Pavitra.
Sir, Pavitra.
Excellent, Pavitra. Excellent answer, dear. Because why nothing is going to come? Because the condition which we have defined is not true for this value. That is the reason nothing is going to happen. Okay, because what is, see, this condition will always get executed if, sorry, this line of code is, or this line of code which we have defined in between this then and if, it will get executed only if this condition is true. If this condition is false for any reason or for any number, this line of code is not going to get executed. Remember this thing. Whatever line of code or whatever statements you have written in between these two things, in between these two keywords, then and if, this, that is all only going to executed if the condition which you have defined is true. Otherwise you will not be able to see the output which this line is going to produce. Okay, now what about, there is one more thing called if then else loop. It's given on page number 122. Come on, page number 122. You will get to see a heading right on the top, if then else. Are you all able to see it? Right on the top on page number 122.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's
If then.
then else. Now, what is the difference between if then and if then else? See, right now we guys have used if then. Now, if you want to, define an else condition, so this is a keyword that you have to use. And
Yes, sir.
here, if I will write down this thing, now how is the execution going to take place? See, what happens is, first of all, this if loop is going to check whether the condition is true or not. Now, if the condition is true, अगर ये condition true होगी, then तो क्या होगा? This line of code is going to get executed and we will get to see this thing on the text window. Entered value is positive. Okay? Else translates in, and else translates to Hindi
Agar.
in agar. Absolutely correct. Else beta, else. If nahi, else. Else translates
Excuse me,
to
sir.
या फिर
Yes, sir. What?
nahi to. Else translates to nahi to. अब मैं आपको पूरा प्रॉपर्ली एक्सप्लेन करूंगा, जरा देखिएगा.
Excuse me,
अगर,
sir.
yes, who's this?
सर, if then else वाला कौन से पेज पर है? मेरे को पेज
It's
नहीं मिल
given,
रहा सर.
beta, it's given on page number 122. Right on the top, you will be able to see the topic if then else. Okay.
Okay.
Just forget about that. You have to concentrate here on your screen. Okay. So here, what I am doing, अगर ये condition true है, so then मतलब तो, अगर ये condition true है, तो क्या होगा? तो ये चीज होगी. नहीं तो else. नहीं तो मतलब क्या हो गया कि ये condition false है. नहीं तो ये चीज होगी. ठीक है? So whatever condition user has defined inside this if loop, if it is true, then this line of code should get executed. Otherwise, else this line of code should get executed. Now we have both the things. हम लोगों के पास ट्रू के लिए भी एक चीज है, अगर कंडीशन ट्रू होती है तब भी हमारे पास एक रिजल्ट है, अगर कंडीशन फॉल्स होती है तब भी हमारे पास एक रिजल्ट आएगा. Let me just show it to you practically now. What are we going to get the output if suppose we'll enter a negative number here? Suppose this is the number which the user entered on this text window. The user has entered on this text window. Now what is going to happen? Can anyone tell me what is the output we are going to get?